Hello again, friends! Yesterday we took a look at the Nightcrawler figure from the Wendigo Wave, and today we're just going to continue with Mr. Sinister. Here is the very evil Mr. Sinister out of the package, and is it just me, or does Mr. Sinister have like the coolest cape of all the comic book super villains in Marvel? Like, it's just a bunch of leather straps that all dangle. I mean, Hasbro kind of sculpted some, like they're fused together as if like, oh, they're just overlapping for the moment, and then some are just like, well, I don't think there are any totally individual. This is two of them together, but there's like two layers just to make it like super extra thick, I guess. And then same thing on the inner layers. Some are sculpted together, some are a little bit looser, and I'm not sure how I like that. It probably would have been better if you just sculpted them all separate, and then they could mingle about and move, and like, okay, you want some to look like they're overlapping, they'll overlap for real instead of sculpting them as if they're overlapping, and then just, I don't know. It still looks cool, though. It looks really, really cool, although it's just kind of weird when they're moving and you're like, oh, they should all be moving, but some are fused together. Anyways, the Sinister's body is really cool. It's got all these lines on it that are all sculpted. Really, really cool. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the body they reused for Colossus, considering all the little lines that are in it. It's pretty good face sculpt, too. It's just evil, sinister-looking smile. Gosh, it makes perfect sense for this guy, right? Although one thing I don't like is these little cuffs on the gloves. Separate pieces. It's more obvious on this one, I think, how loose it is. Like, I don't really like it when they do that, but they're only doing it because they reused this forearm part and they didn't want to sculpt a whole new forearm with this little thing, so they just sculpted some new rubber things and snapped it on there. And yeah, thankfully he doesn't have alternate hands, so it's not going to be an issue with them falling off if you pop off the hand, but it's still kind of weird that this swivels around when it should just be like stuck there. Like, I guess you could just use a little super glue, but whatever. Yeah, most part, sculpt's really, really good. They even got like these new pieces for the thighs here where they, swivel around, which is cool because we don't normally see that. And then down here, they did sculpt that on or glue it on, I think. No, it swivels. How'd they do this exactly? I guess it's a new ankle piece. Pretty cool. Yeah, got some new tooling on here. These shoulder pads are rubbery, but they're so glossy. It looks really, really good. And speaking of gloss, let's go on to the paint. It's pretty clean looking, and I love this metallic blue, friends. It's just so shiny, and it looks really good, I think. And then the black parts, they look like glossy, leathery. It's just really, really good looking, I think. Pretty good. I don't really notice any slop either. The cape is red on the inside, black on the outside, and it's got that same sheen that the black parts of his costume do. If you look at the shoulder pads, just really cool looking. Although I will say, like, it's kind of easy to tell shoulder pads are separate pieces, but I mean, what do you want? It's a really cool looking cape. Wraps all the way around his head. It's got the same shininess, red on the inside. Really good, and clean face too. I can't really find any complaints with the paint, honestly. It's like, just not sloppy and really shiny. Everything's really shiny, honestly. It's really cool, I think. Good sculpt, good paint, good job, Hasbro. Let's look at the articulation next. So, I guess there's a ball joint in there on a hinge. There we go. Kind of stiff at first, and then the cape hood the neck part of the cape kind of gets in the way of him going too far back. But I mean, wow, can still go pretty far back, honestly. And forwards, pretty darn good. Swivels all the way around, although kind of shoving his face into this big rubber piece. I could probably get it to go further, but I don't want to force it. So very good articulation, I think, on the head. Shoulders are ball joints. I guess you can force them against the rubber here, but I don't want to force it too much. It feels like, actually, it feels pretty good. Feels like you might rip it a little if you go too much, but pretty good job there. And then they go pretty far up. It's got bicep swivel, double elbows for his meaty arms. And this is a separate piece. Kind of bugs me when you play with the wrist, but the wrist is hinge and swivel. Pretty good articulation. Exactly what you expect from Marvel Legends. Got ab crunch. Goes so far back. Although that kind of makes his cape, touch the floor. So that's kind of hard if you're trying to get him to stand in that pose. Goes so far forward. Got a waist swivel. All the way around. Excellent there. Ball joints at the hips, go so far forward. Don't go back really much as butt's in the way. Do the splits only that much. The thigh swivel is hidden in the top of the boot, which I love. We don't usually see that from Marvel Legends, so that's pretty cool. Got double knees, kind of beefy legs. Can't quite get all the way back to his butt, but then he's got these hinge and pivot ankles, but also swivels up at the top of the little baby boot. Wait, this is kind of weird. I just noticed this. He's got a boot here and a boot there, and is he wearing like boots for just this part of his leg and then a boot on top of that boot? What the heck is going on here? But, well, the articulation is good. I guess it's all that really matters. So Mr. Sinister's packaging is pretty standard for Marvel Legends. On the side, we've got some cool character artwork that's on fire, apparently. And on the back, we've got the other figures in the Wendigo wave. That's pretty much all there is to it. At the top, you get the cool little X-Men logo the Nightcrawler also had, and a bunch of X-Men characters have had so far. Anyways, let's open this thing up. So it doesn't look like there are any twist ties. In the tray we got Mr. Sinister and his giant cape poking out through the back. I wonder how this is going to work if we try to just pop him out. Let's see. Whoa! Wow, that worked pretty well. Good job packaging this guy, Hasbro. For accessories, Mr. Sinister's got the right arm of Wendigo, sculpted and painted nicely, I guess. Here you go, you can hold that. Yeah, not much to do with it, and he doesn't come with any other accessories, so bit of a letdown, I guess. What's not let down is Mr. Sinister's size. He is a big boy who stands at 7 inches tall at the top of his head, and 7.5 to the top of his little collar thing back there. As always, here he is with Batman and Spider-Man, the puny little Wolverine, slightly less puny Sabretooth, Jean Grey, who I think Mr. Sinister was always trying to do some creepy stuff with, and also from the Wendigo wave, Nightcrawler, who I just reviewed recently. So I ultimately really like this Mr. Sinister figure, friends. Yeah, it's a little weird. He's got the double boot thing going on. One boot at the bottom, one boot at the top. I'm not sure what that's about exactly. And it's weird when you look at his cape from the side. It doesn't exactly hang naturally, but it's still one of the coolest capes on any X-Men villain ever. So I really like what Hasbro did with the cape overall. And even though some of the choices might seem kind of weird to people, but I think it's a really cool cape in general. And I love the deep, dark blue, almost black we got on all his armor and the backside of the cape there, and the super shiny blue on the body. The paint overall is real good. That's probably the best thing about this guy. No slop anywhere to speak of. Really beefy limbs on a giant evil body, and one of the coolest X-Men villains ever, I think. So I really recommend him. And until next time, peace out, YouTube.